So let me take you back to a recent dinner party I hosted. It was meant to be a classy evening, filled with laughter and good food. I invited my closest friends and told them to bring their significant others or plus ones. The atmosphere was warm and inviting, or at least it was until my friend's boyfriend showed up. Now, I had never met this guy before. Let's call him Handstand Harry. From the moment he walked in, I could tell he had this hyper energy bubbling beneath the surface. I thought, okay, he's just excited. No big deal. But little did I know, that excitement was about to cause some serious chaos. As we sat down for dinner, everything was going smoothly. The food was on point, the conversation was flowing, and I felt like a proud host. But then, during a lull in the conversation, Harry decided it was the perfect time to show off his handstand skills. I mean, who does that at a dinner party, right? As he flipped upside down, disaster struck. He knocked into one of my tables, and in a split second, the sound of shattering pottery filled the room. I could hardly believe my eyes. My beautiful vases and ornamental bowls, pieces I had carefully chosen from local artists, were now nothing more than a pile of broken shards. I took a deep breath, reminding myself that no one was hurt. But inside, I felt a mix of anger and disbelief. After all, these items weren't just decor. They had sentimental value. They were a reflection of my taste and the effort I put into creating a beautiful space for my friends. When the dust settled, my best friend immediately apologized, her face pale with embarrassment. She knew how much those pieces meant to me. I tried to reassure her, saying, "It's fine, accidents happen." But deep down, I knew I wanted those items replaced. I explained to her that while the vases were made by small artists and had a price tag of $40 to $80 each, that wasn't the point. Harry had a stable job. He could easily afford to replace them. Yet when I brought up the idea of him covering the cost, my friend suggested an alternative. "Why don't we just get some replacements from IKEA or Marshalls?" I paused. The thought of replacing my unique, handcrafted pieces with mass-produced items felt like a slap in the face. "No," I said firmly. "I want the original items that were broken." That's when things escalated. My friend insisted I was being unreasonable. "It was an accident," she argued. Sure, it was an accident, but it was an entirely preventable one. If Harry had just read the room and kept his hands to himself, none of this would have happened. I felt torn. On one hand, I wanted to be understanding. I knew accidents happen, but on the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had every right to ask for compensation. After all, my home was meant to be a safe space for everyone, and I had put a lot of thought into creating that environment. As our conversation continued, I could sense the tension rising. My friend's boyfriend remained oblivious, still buzzing with energy, while I felt like I was losing control of the situation. It was heartbreaking to see my friend and I, who had shared so many memories together, suddenly at odds over something that should have been a simple request. Eventually, I had to step back and take a moment to gather my thoughts. I couldn't help but wonder if I was being too harsh. Am I the asshole for wanting my broken items replaced? Was I being unreasonable for asking for what felt like a fair resolution? As the night ended, I felt a mix of emotions swirling inside me. I didn't want to ruin our friendship over a few broken vases, but at the same time, I couldn't shake the feeling that my request wasn't just valid, it was necessary. So, I decided to take to Reddit, seeking guidance from the community. I shared my story, hoping to find clarity among the mixed responses. Some people backed me up, saying I had every right to ask for replacements. Others sympathized with my friend, suggesting I should just let it go. But here's the kicker. Why should I have to let it go? Why should I swallow my frustration and pretend like it didn't matter? Every item that was broken represented not just money, but the effort I put into creating a beautiful atmosphere for my friends. I felt like I was standing up for myself, but at what cost? As I read through the comments, I realized that the situation was more complex than I initially thought. Friendships can be fragile, and sometimes standing up for your boundaries can lead to conflict. But isn't that part of being an adult? Navigating these tricky waters of friendship and accountability? In the end, I decided to reach out to my friend to discuss it further. I wanted to clear the air and make sure we could move past this incident without it hanging over our heads. I told her how much I valued our friendship and how I truly believed that accountability was important, not just for me, but for all of us. As I wrapped up my post, I felt a sense of relief. No matter the outcome, I knew I had done my best to communicate my feelings honestly and openly. And that's all we can really do, right? So here's my question for you. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have asked for replacements for the broken items, or would you have let it slide to keep the peace? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.